I I thought a lot. I thought hard and a lot about making today's video because today I want to talk down to earth. Today I want to be. I, I feel like I should just be real with what's going on. I don't usually get into this kind of stuff. I don't usually follow what's on the news or whatever, but I just really feel like I I just really gotta say something today. So I'm sure by now you've heard about the tragedy in Georgia, and it's honestly it's devastating and it's horrible that you know ever since this pandemic hit the US, or not even when it got into the US, when this whole thing started, just in general, a lot of discrimination has been going towards um, Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, and it's just totally wrong, and it's totally out of people's control. I just really hate seeing that kind of stuff happen in in the society we're going on right now, because with the world we're living in, we should be trying to help each other, and yet we just keep doing the exact opposite every day, every week, always just looking for someone to blame. And like I said, I don't normally follow a lot of stuff that's going on in the country, but someone who I grew up with, someone a close, very close childhood friend of mine who is Asian American, and I I just hate thinking about if someone would ever discriminate against her just because of her race or how she looks. I just this whole thing just sucks. I mean, the whole pandemic sucks. I mean, I it's affect everyone, but for people to take it out on Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, it's just wrong entirely. Like I said, it's to blame it on people who have no control of what's going on in the world, who didn't plan this pandemic. It's it just sucks, and I just really hate the fact that I have to think about what if one of the closest people I grew up with has to go through that kind of stuff, that kind of hatred and discrimination. One of the nicest people I've ever met. I I just don't even want to think about it, but I can't because of all the stuff that's been going on within the past year. There's just so much hatred and discrimination and all kinds of bad stuff just going on to Asian Americans. It's it's just wrong. It's all I can say. It's inhumane. It's just wrong. I just a lot ever since this pandemic has happened. It's just a whole lot of discrimination has increased by like 1900%. It's like that's like skyrocketing right there. That's skyrocketed in a short amount of time. It's it's just not what America is about. America's not about that. It's about, you know, looking after one another and supporting one another and land of opportunity, liberty, and justice. And yet, when you you see this stuff on social media or the news or whatever, and I just think to myself, this is the exact opposite of what this country's about, and it's just a shame, really. It's it's just a shame and total embarrassment. I I can't even think about what would even happen to one of my closest friends if anything bad happened to her just because of the way she's born, of just the way she is. Just the fact that people judge each other by their appearance and such. It's just it's not the world anyone wants to live in, but it's the world that we do live in, and it's unfortunate that we have to live in that kind of world. But I just I just want you all to know. I just ask that you all help one another out there, that you all support each other no matter how big or small. Just life shouldn't be like this, you know? You know, it's too precious to hate each other and to judge each other. I I just hate but if you do want to help out in any way you can, there are some resources and some things you can do. Personally, still being a huge comic book geek and all, I wanted to have my wallpaper be of Katana, who was Asian American in the comics, and this is her in the Suicide Squad movie. Um, I bought myself a little sticker yesterday, which should be here in a few weeks. Um, but if you want to help out in any way, there's some sources and some donations you can look into if you want. But yeah, like I said, I just hate the fact that this is the world that we live in, and this has just been going on for quite some time now, ever since this this whole pandemic has been happening. It's just not fair. It's not fair to, Asian Americans or Pacific Islanders because they don't deserve to go through that stuff. It's not their fault. And it's also not fair to the person judging Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders because they're not they're not giving themselves the chance to get to know the person. They're just judging a book by its cover. And unfortunately, with the society we're in today, it's we just have a whole lot of that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But that's my that's just my 2 cents. I just ask that you just look out to each other, and you just try to help each other however you can. Just uh, they just don't deserve to go through this. It's just not fair. It's just not. It's wrong. It's inhumane. Like, no one should have to go through it. No one. But yeah, I just want to just do whatever good I can to help people and such. And I just want to do whatever I can to help make just to show my support and such, no matter how big or small it may seem. And hopefully that other people out there will do the same thing. But I only made this because I just, I've been, like I said, I grew up with someone who's very close, a very good childhood friend of mine, and I just would hate to see the kind of bad things that would happen to her. I wouldn't. It's just scary. But I just ask that you look after one another and just be nice to each other. Please. I just ask that you be nice to each other.